Thanks very much for joining us. This is What's Up Today, your show for daily updates. My name is Cynthia Mutua. Consider me your informant. Now, today we have a unique lineup of stories for you guys, per usual. And in today's highlights, we're going to be discussing what's going on with the Musk family. Also, we're going to be delving more into the story of inflation. We have 3 independent stories about the inflation that's going on. And also, we're going to be covering how Spain found a way to reduce transport costs in this inflation that's still going on. Also, we're going to be discussing how is it possible that sitting at the wrong place with a big hat could cause a blackout in major cities. Now, let's start with the story of the day. What really is going on with the Musk family? Seems they are slowly making their way to the title of father of many nations. Elon Musk's father confessed that he has sired a secret love child with his stepdaughter, Jana Bazenhodot. According to an article by New York Post, Errol, who is 76, sired with his baby girl who is 35. That is more than half his age. And this happened in 2019. He does not seem sorry about it either. While bragging to the Sun after the news of Elon Musk's twins came out, he said that the only thing we are on earth to do is to reproduce. However, the two are not living together anymore. According to Errol, there is a 41-year age gap between him and Jana, and that made it impractical for them to continue living together. Besides, he clarified that the pregnancy was unplanned. He went on to state that if he is around for longer, they might wind up back together. The two already have a 5-year-old boy born in 2017. The Musk family tree, however complicated, grows by the day. Errol himself has 7 children, while Elon has 10. Errol is a wealthy South African engineer married to a model, Maye Haldeman, in 1970. They had 3 children together, that is Elon, Kimball, and Tosca. They then divorced in 1979, and Errol wasted no time in marrying another lady. He married Hyde Bazenhodot, a young widow who already had 2 children, including Jana, the stepdaughter who he sired with. Together, they have 2 biological children. Jana was just 4 when Errol started raising her as a stepfather. The couple divorced after 18 years of marriage. And these findings come not so long after Elon Musk's own family drama. Elon had twins he sired with an employee in 2021, that is Shivon Zilis. Shivon Zilis is the company's project director. They welcomed twins in November 2021. The two then decided to change the children's surnames to Musk. These twins were delivered a month before Elon and his on and off lover Grimes welcomed a baby too. Now, moving on to the other story, and we have been doing a comprehensive coverage of the impact of inflation worldwide. And today we have 3 independent stories that I had mentioned earlier that are going to unearth how far inflation has gone and how people are adapting to it. Now, in Pakistan, an 11-year-old boy was killed after he was caught eating food from his employer's fridge. This is a country where impoverished parents have been sending their kids to work for rich families in a bid to afford life. The 11-year-old boy who works as a domestic worker was tortured and murdered while he was caught eating without permission during the Eid holidays. This boy was obviously hungry and he needed to eat something. Now, this story sheds light on the prevalence and brutality of child labor in the country. In a shocking revelation, police said that subjects were tied up in a room and subjected to heavy beatings with sharp objects for hours by employers while the family members watched. The boy's 6-year-old brother was also beaten during the attack, but he survived. Following this case, 3 accused employers have been detained in Pakistan. It is illegal for children below 14 years to work, leave alone the standard 18 or 21 years. Local child rights advocacy groups say that more than an estimated 12.5 million children worked in different fields in the country, including factories, agricultural, and domestic sectors. In 2020, there was a similar incident when an 8-year-old was killed for setting his employees' prized parrots free. Now, moving on to another story about inflation. We all know that the transport costs have been going up almost everywhere due to the rising prices of fuel. Now in Spain, the Prime Minister seems to have found just the right way to cushion inflation in the country. His name is Pedro Sanchez. So Pedro Sanchez, the country's socialist Prime Minister, said that the money gotten from taxes imposed on banks and energy companies will be used to fund free train travel for 4 months. It will also be used to enhance youth scholarships and build 12,000 new homes in Madrid. This means that short and mid-distance trains will be free from September to December. These new measures are in a bid to counteract the rising cost of living brought about by COVID-19. Taxing these institutions is anticipated to bring in approximately 7 billion euros in the period between 2023 to 2024. Inflation in the country hit a record 10.2% in June. This is the highest number ever recorded in 37 years. Stock for Spanish banks also fell sharply. Pedro Sanchez sought to defend the working class to the bone. These new measures will ensure 75 million free train journeys across the country. Now, if you think inflation is a problem to human beings only, you're mistaken. I mean, how else could animals be affected if they don't have to buy a thing from the shops? Well, the penguins feel affected too. An aquarium employee waved a mackerel near a penguin and got no reaction. He moved the fish closer to its beak, but the penguin turned away haughtily. Another species in the aquarium, the otter, sniffed the fish and literally ran away. Clearly, they're not happy about the food. The aquarium employees stated that they had to change the diet of fish due to inflation. Initially, they offered the penguins and otters aji. This is the Japanese horse mackerel. The price of aji, unfortunately, has increased by 20 to 30% the last year alone. So they were forced to switch to a cheaper alternative. They are now feeding them saba. Saba is a mackerel, but a different species. But the penguins are intelligent animals. They have a very good memory span. The aquarium workers had to be creative by mixing the saba with their favorite aji so that the penguins can eat it. As you travel, this is another story of a woman who has been touring around the world, and she caused blackout in major cities without her knowing. So as you travel, mind where you sit, especially if you have a straw hat on. A woman on vacation, donning a big floppy hat, plunged the nation into darkness. Apparently, if you have a big floppy hat and sit down strategically in a hotel balcony, so strategic that you could block the sun, you could single-handedly cause blackout in a whole nation. Close to 330 million Americans were reportedly affected by a sudden loss of visibility Thursday morning. Sources confirmed that the near-total blackout began in the Denver area around 11:15 a.m. Anna Kinahan was on vacation minding her own business. She sat down at the poolside at the Four Seasons Resort, which is in Denver. While she was wearing a large-brimmed straw hat, she bought this straw hat so that she could use it for the hat since it's summer in the area. It is this straw hat that cast a shadow that immediately spread across the entire country. Within moments, 3.1 million square miles of America's adjacent 48 states were completely covered by the shadow of Ann Taylor's sun hat. This reportedly led to widespread panic in major cities. A couple of plants died across U.S. farmlands. Thousands of traffic accidents happened while the traveler sipped her mimosa, oblivious of what she had caused. Several hundred deaths were also reported from exposure to extremely cold temperatures in areas where the headgear completely obstructed the heat of the sun. After a while, residents were rejoicing as the murkiness suddenly lifted and they could see again. They enjoyed the weather for a while, only to be thrust once again into an all-consuming darkness when Anna let her friend try the big fat floppy hat on. Now, after more than 2 years of living through a pandemic, it is understandable that news of a new virus spreading across the globe could cause alarm. In a live online Q&A, experts at the World Health Organization say that they expect cases of monkeypox to rise across the globe, but there is no evidence yet to suggest that it could spread like the coronavirus. Monkeypox is not a new virus, and it spreads primarily through close contact with people who are infected. So here are a few things to know about monkeypox, and this is coming up in our today's segment of Did You Know? We're also going to be coming back with the story of today's trailblazer. We're going to be finding out how is it possible that poop, waste that comes from the human body, could cure illnesses of the gut. So that's coming up right after the break. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is What's Up Today, your Surefire daily updates. And we've come back with the section of Did You Know? So monkeypox has been a problem. It has been spreading across several states right now, and it has become a threat. So after more than 2 years of living through a pandemic, it is understandable that the news of a new virus spreading across the globe could cause alarm. In a live online Q&A, experts at the World Health Organization said that they expect cases of monkeypox to rise across the globe, but there is no evidence yet to suggest that it could spread like the coronavirus. Monkeypox is not a new virus, and it spreads primarily through close contact to people who are infected. So you might be asking yourself, how will I know if I have monkeypox, for instance? How will I spread it in other ways? Or what are the go abouts of this disease? These are the few things you need to learn about monkeypox. In the past, people typically caught monkeypox, that is, by coming into close contact with infected animals. That could be through an animal bite, scratch, bodily fluids, feces, or by consuming meat that isn't cooked enough. Monkeypox was first discovered in 1958 after outbreaks occurred in monkeys kept for research. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they say that the monkeys that were kept in the laboratory, they started noticing that they have this disease and it's quickly spreading. And that is how clearly it got its name. However, scientists think rodents are the main carriers of the virus in the wild. It is mainly found in Central and West Africa, particularly in areas close to tropical rainforests and other places that are adjacent to that. Squirrels, Gambian poached rats, and dormice have all been identified as potential carriers. It is similar to smallpox, but less severe. It was discovered in 1958, and the virus has probably been circulating in these animals for a very, very long time. However, the first human case of monkeypox was detected in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. What are the symptoms of the virus? Monkeypox creates a rash that starts with flat red marks that become raised and filled with pus. Infected people may also have a fever and body aches. Symptoms typically appear in 6 to 13 days, but can take as long as 3 weeks after exposure to show. And these symptoms can last for 2 to 4 weeks. Health officials recommend smallpox vaccines, among other treatments, to control an outbreak. The virus spreads mainly through body fluids, skin contact, and respiratory droplets. So other ways that you can spread monkeypox is coming through contact by sexual intercourse. So that is one of the ways that has been causing alarm among the people in the previous days. Other ways that you can spread it is mainly attending events that are crowded with people due to the skin contact that is going on. All right, now let's move on to today's Trailblazer. Trailblazer is a section where we cover people who are important in the history of mankind. These are people who have done major things to the history of mankind. These are people who will go in history for long, and these are actually people who have just contributed to the society. So today's trailblazer is ONG, and you're coming back with that segment. Well, thanks for staying with us. We've come back with the segment of today's trailblazer. Turns out fecal transplants can fix gut diseases, but finding the right donor stool is tricky. The solution, some scientists believe, is to keep a store of your own. The thought of transplanting other person's poop into your colon may sound unpleasant, and understandably so. Feces are a smelly mixture of water and undigested food, among other things. However, the live bacteria in feces have proven their worth in treating ailments of the digestive tract. This is why doctors have been transferring feces from healthy donors to sick patients for years. That's right, years. This procedure is called colonoscopy, or it can be administered through pills. The concept is simple. Bacteria in a donor's poop is going to balance out the bacteria in your own poop. That means you're going to be treated of the infection of the human colon that cause life-threatening bacteria in some cases. It is estimated that 90% of these cases have worked. And research in Norway wrote that patients with irritable bowel syndrome or suffering stomach cramps and constipation can be treated using this transplant, and it works. Having that in mind, that brings us to today's trailblazer. His name is Dr. ONG. In 2014, in Singapore, he was the first to do this kind of procedure. And in a startup, he has a startup called Amili. This is an organization that collects feces from willing donors so that they can give it to people who are suffering from any gut disease. So this can cure obesity or those who have autism spectrum problems related to eating. And those who are born with it can also be treated. So a gene is what you're born with. You can change your gene, but you can change the microbes in your gut so that you can be healed of these gut problems. Apart from curing gut problems, it is said that right now scientists are still conducting research and are going to be finding out whether these fecal transplants can be used to cure depression, whether they can be used to cure cancer, even COVID-19. So that is today's trailblazer. You can search for Dr. ONG. This is a very unique man that has found out a way of turning wastes into useful products. That's what's up today. I am your host, Cynthia Mutua. You can catch me tomorrow, same time, same place, for your surefire daily updates.